Obviously, there's some lawyers that go to court every day, and there's some lawyers that go to court sometimes, and there's some lawyers that never go to court. In our practice, we're in court most mornings, and then in the afternoons, we're obviously in the office working on files, interviewing clients, and getting work done here from the office standpoint. I think, at least with what I do with criminal law, is that no 2 days are ever the same, no 2 cases are ever the same, and it's a pretty exciting sector to work in. I mean, my favorite parts of being a sports agent are, I love sports, I'm passionate about sports, helping out my players, negotiating contracts, being able to watch them. It's like playing real-life fantasy sports. So I could go on and on. I love that. As far as being a lawyer, it would just be the reward of, getting positive outcomes for your clients and helping them protect their rights and helping them try and get good outcomes. So at the end of the day, there's nothing better than when someone's crying and they want to hug you because, you've really done something that changed their life. There's lots of jobs in the world that you go to, and at the end of the day, are you really changing someone's life? Probably not. You're just working and putting out work product. But a lot of what we do, as far as in the legal field, is life-changing for some people. Yeah, I mean, there's some times where obviously criminal people are irresponsible for the most part, whether it's them paying their bills to you or just not cooperating or not showing up on time. The other dislike, I guess, would be just certain cases where you get into representing, trying to defend someone where you don't necessarily, agree with what they've done. Just may conflict with you ethically or morally. And but you still have a duty to represent your client to the greatest degree, so you have to fight through those. Before I do several things, I teach sports law at a college, and I own a sports agency, so I probably receive more accolades in those areas. I don't know that I set out to achieve any special goal. I just want to be the best lawyer I can be, the best professor I can be, the best agent I can be. Probably, since I was a little kid, I don't think I really ever thought of doing anything else. My dad's been practicing for over 30 years, and I think it was just kind of a given in my mind and in the minds of my family that I was going to go to high school and then go to college and then go to law school and then practice law with my dad. I remember when I was in college, and my dad and his law partner at the time, they had a big criminal trial that was publicized worldwide. And it was on court TV, and I remember, and obviously I wanted to be a lawyer before that, but I remember at that point I thought, okay, this is really cool that, I'm in college and I flip on court TV or CNN and watch them each night, during this trial. I think at that time it became where it solidified my feelings on what I wanted to do. Influences, obviously, like I stated, my father, but it wouldn't just be him. I think it would also be because I grew up around my father running a law office, so it would be all the other lawyers as well and judges that I came into contact with growing up through the relationships my father had with them and going to sporting events with them. So predominantly my father, but also I would say those other people played a role as well. That all depends on where geographic location, current economic climate, experience, law school ranking. So it could range from $30,000 to $3 million a year. It literally ranges that much. I think right now most law offices are holding steady and not hiring, or they're even cutting back. I went and spoke at Salute Law last week, and every 3L means your last year of law school, your third year, I asked them all what they were doing, and not one of them had any idea what they were doing when they get out. So obviously the supply is way greater than the demand. Obviously you have to have an undergrad degree to go to law school, so undergrad degree generally is going to be approximately 4 years. But not only these 4 years, you're going to have good grades, you're going to have to get a GPA, because obviously the supply and demand of people getting to law school, same situation. It's harder to get into law school these days because more people are trying to go and there's only so many spots. But you have to have a good GPA, you have to have a good LSAT score. You go to law, undergrad usually is about 4 years, and then law school is usually 3 years, start to finish. Obviously there's different programs that some people get into, but predominantly it's 3 years, unless you're in some evening program or something. So 3 years of law school. Undergrad, when you're in undergrad, it's fun. You think it's hard, but you don't really even know what hard is until you get into law school. In reality, I talked to a few people that really enjoyed the intellectual nature of law school. My reality is it sucked. Yeah, like I said, that's really tough. I have 2 kids, and obviously I have the sports agency and the law office and teaching, and that is tough. But you just have to find a way to balance it. Obviously, I'm a very involved father. My son plays basketball, soccer, baseball, select teams. I go to I try not to miss a game. But spring training with baseball, I'm leaving on Thursday, and I'll be gone most of March to Florida and Arizona. So that gets tough. Obviously, one of my sons is getting old enough where this year he is going to get to go to Florida with my company for 3 days, fly down with one of my agents, and then fly back with me. So starting to get him more involved, although he's only 5. But I don't think there's a great answer other than you just have to make it work. No one right now. I've already touched on this several times. No, it's good. I just think that you could graduate right now in 2012 doing this interview. You could graduate from college and get a better job paying more money than you probably could get out of law school at this point, and then you wouldn't have to go through 3 years of bad times in law school and all the student loans involved with going to law school as well. A lot of people always ask me what major should they get in undergrad, and I always tell people I got a political science major. If I could do it over, I would never have done that. I recommend to anyone to get a business major of some sort, because in my especially with my sports agency, I always see a lot of sports and entertainment management majors or political science majors going to law school. Everything in this entire world revolves around business, in my opinion. In some way, shape, or form, everything comes back to business. So I would recommend that. Well, it depends on obviously what type of law you're in, but lawyers are people that are hired by either companies or citizens to help them with something they need that involves legal matters, whether it's someone going through a divorce needing to fight the other side, or someone that's charged with a crime that wants to help with fighting that crime, or someone who's being sued or needs to sue someone and you need an advocate, or someone on the prosecutor's side where you're fighting for the rights of the citizens that need protected. So I think you're always just an advocate, and you're fighting for whatever side you either choose or you're given.